Did you know that one of the most powerful ways to protect your muscles as you age isn't a supplement, a protein shake, or even a workout routine? It's something far more surprising. In fact, it's something most people try to avoid everyday discomfort. There's a scientific name for it, hormetic stress, and it refers to brief, controlled periods of physical challenge that activate your body's natural repair systems. These aren't extreme punishing practices. They're short, intentional doses of stress, like cold heat or fasting, that actually make you stronger over time. You've probably experienced hormetic stress without knowing it. Think of that jolt you get from a cold splash of water, the calm, refreshed feeling after sitting in a hot sauna, or the alert clarity that sometimes follows a skipped meal. These moments may seem small, but they send powerful signals deep into your biology. Research is now showing that these signals do more than boost mood. They help protect and rebuild muscle. And that's vital, because by the time you reach your 80s, you may have lost up to half your muscle mass compared to when you were younger. Not just strength, but balance, mobility, and independence. Over 50 million older adults around the world are quietly being affected by this condition called sarcopenia. Each year, over 300,000 seniors are hospitalized due to falls related to muscle loss. But here's the good news. New research proves this isn't inevitable. And before we dive into the 7 daily habits that can truly reverse or delay muscle loss, take a moment to subscribe to Senior Fit. This channel is here to help you stay strong, sharp, and independent without hype, without gimmicks. Just science-backed strategies that work for real people over 60. Now let's jump into it. Most people know that protein is essential for building and preserving muscle. But what many older adults don't realize is that when you eat protein can be just as important as how much you eat. This is especially true after age 60, when something called anabolic resistance begins to set in. It means your body becomes less efficient at using protein to build and repair muscle. You might be eating enough protein, but your body can't make the most of it unless you consume it at the right times. Here's the common mistake. Many seniors eat very little protein at breakfast, a small portion at lunch, and then try to make up for it with a large dinner. But muscle protein synthesis doesn't work like that. Your muscles can only absorb and use protein effectively within a short window, about 3 to 4 hours after a meal. After that, the effect fades. So, if you're only hitting your protein needs once a day, you're missing 2 crucial opportunities to signal your body to build and maintain muscle. The solution is simple. Spread your protein evenly throughout the day. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at each meal. That means starting early, even at breakfast, instead of toast or cereal alone. Try eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a quick protein smoothie. These small changes can set the tone for better muscle health all day long. At lunch and dinner, continue with lean meats, fish, tofu, legumes, or dairy. Even plant-based eaters can meet their needs with thoughtful planning. This one adjustment, balanced protein intake across the day, has shown remarkable results. In a University of Texas study, older adults who followed this strategy gained over a pound of muscle in just 12 weeks. No additional exercise, no supplements, just smarter timing. Beyond muscle, this approach also supports blood sugar stability, reduces cravings, and improves energy and mental clarity. Critical for staying sharp and steady as we age. The bottom line, eating more protein is helpful, but eating it the right way at the right times is what turns effort into results. So tomorrow morning, skip the empty carbs, build your first meal around protein, and let that one simple shift guide your strength for the rest of the day. When people hear the words vitamin D, they usually think of bone health. But there's a lesser-known side to this essential nutrient that deserves your attention, especially if you're over 60. Vitamin D is also known as the muscle vitamin. And if you're deficient, your muscles will feel it long before your bones do. Here's what most people don't realize. Your muscles actually have vitamin D receptors. These are little switches inside your cells that help trigger muscle growth, repair, and even response time. Without enough vitamin D, those switches don't turn on. And when that happens, strength fades, balance suffers, and simple tasks like rising from a chair or catching yourself from a stumble become harder and riskier. Shockingly, more than 80% of older adults are low in vitamin D. That number rises even higher in people who live in colder climates, spend most of their time indoors, or have darker skin tones. And here's why that matters. Seniors with optimal vitamin D levels have been shown to have 25% greater muscle strength than those who are deficient. They also have quicker reaction times and fewer falls. But here's the catch. As we age, our skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into vitamin D. By the time you're in your 60s, that process may be working at only half the capacity it once did. So even if you're outside daily, you still might not be getting enough. What can you do? First, get tested. A simple blood test can tell you where your levels stand. Many doctors recommend aiming for a blood level above 40 nanograms per milliliter. To get there, most older adults need 2,000 to 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily, far more than the outdated 600 IU many guidelines still suggest. But there's one more important piece. If you're supplementing with higher doses of D, you'll also need enough vitamin K2. This nutrient helps guide calcium to the right places, your bones and muscles, instead of letting it build up in the arteries. Without it, D3 supplementation could do more harm than good. You can get vitamin K2 naturally from fermented foods like natto, hard cheeses, egg yolks, and organ meats, or through a well-formulated supplement that combines D3 and K2 together. Vitamin D may not seem exciting. It's not trendy. It doesn't come with fancy packaging. But getting this one thing right could mean the difference between years of independence or early frailty. So ask your doctor. Check your levels and start treating this quiet nutrient like the muscle guardian it really is. When we think about inflammation, we often imagine something obvious: swelling redness, pain. But the most dangerous kind of inflammation isn't loud or visible. It's quiet, hidden, and it slowly wears down your strength over time. This type is called chronic low-grade inflammation. And among aging adults, it's one of the most underestimated drivers of muscle loss. As we get older, our bodies naturally begin to accumulate tiny amounts of inflammatory activity. It can come from poor sleep, from gut imbalances, from long-term stress, or even foods that subtly irritate the immune system. This steady trickle of inflammation might not cause any immediate symptoms, but inside, it's creating a slow burn, a quiet background fire that weakens your muscles, disrupts recovery, and blocks your body's ability to grow stronger. In a groundbreaking study from Tufts University, seniors with high levels of inflammation lost muscle mass 3 times faster than those with lower levels, even when eating the same protein and doing the same amount of exercise. That's because inflammation interferes with something called anabolic signaling, the biological cues that tell your muscles it's time to grow. Without those signals working properly, your efforts to eat well and move more don't get fully translated into results. The good news is inflammation isn't a life sentence. It can be measured, managed, even reversed with the right habits. And the strongest older adults, the so-called superagers, tend to have one thing in common: low inflammation. So how do they do it? They prioritize sleep. A consistent bedtime in a completely dark room has been shown to reduce inflammatory markers by up to 40%. They support gut health, aiming to eat 30 yasan or more different plant foods per week, along with fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut. They move daily, but don't overdo it. Too much. Intense exercise can actually fuel inflammation, so they balance effort with recovery. And they eat smart, focusing on anti-inflammatory nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish, curcumin from turmeric polyphenols in berries and green tea, and healthy fats from olive oil. Want to take it a step further? Ask your doctor for a high-sensitivity CRP test. It's a simple blood test that reveals hidden inflammation. Superagers tend to keep their levels below 1 milligrams per liter. Many seniors without symptoms are walking around with 3 to 5 times that without ever knowing. Bottom line, you can't build strong muscles on a foundation of fire. Put out the inflammation first, then let your strength rise from there. When it comes to building and maintaining muscle, most people focus on the big three: protein, carbs, and fat. But for older adults, there's another group of nutrients that rarely get the spotlight, yet may be just as important. They're called micronutrients. And while they don't build muscle directly, they work behind the scenes to make sure your body can actually use the protein you eat, recover from exercise, and keep energy levels steady. The truth is, most older adults are low in at least one essential micronutrient, and they don't even know it. Take magnesium, for example. It powers over 300 reactions in the body, including energy production, muscle contraction, and nerve signaling. Yet more than 70% of seniors aren't getting enough. In one study, older adults with adequate magnesium had 30% stronger grip strength and better mobility than those who were deficient. Then there's creatine. While it's often associated with bodybuilders, it's also one of the most researched and effective nutrients for aging adults. A daily dose of 3 to 5 grams has been shown to improve muscle strength, power, and even cognitive function, especially when combined with light resistance training. Vitamin B12 is another key player. It supports nerve function and energy metabolism. But as we age, our ability to absorb B12 drops dramatically, especially if we take common medications like metformin or acid blockers. Low B12 can lead to fatigue, weakness, and poor muscle coordination, sometimes mistaken for signs of aging. Then we have the trace minerals, zinc, selenium, and chromium. These don't get much attention, but they play critical roles in muscle repair, immune health, and insulin sensitivity. In a long-term study at Tufts University, Seniors with optimal micronutrient levels preserve 22% more muscle mass over 5 years than those with multiple deficiencies. So, how do you know if you're getting enough? Don't guess. Ask your doctor for a micronutrient panel. It's a targeted blood test that can reveal specific gaps and help guide smarter supplementation. In the meantime, focus on variety. Eat the rainbow: leafy greens, nuts, seeds, legumes, fatty fish, eggs, and even a little dark chocolate can go a long way. Micronutrients may be invisible, but their effects are powerful. Without them, even the best diet or exercise plan will fall short. With them, your efforts finally have the support they need to stick and to last. When we talk about muscle loss, we often picture shrinking muscle fibers or declining physical activity. But there's another layer, one that begins to fade even before your muscles do. It's the connection between your brain and your body. This invisible link is called the neuromuscular junction. It's where your nervous system sends signals to your muscles, telling them when and how to move. And as you age, this connection starts to weaken unless you train it. Think of it like an electrical outlet. Even if the muscle is strong, if the signal from your brain can't get through, power is lost. That's why some older adults struggle to stand up smoothly or stumble when turning quickly, even though they're still fairly active. Here's the good news. This connection can be preserved and even improved through the right habits. First, train coordination, not just strength. Activities that require timing, rhythm, and quick decisions help strengthen these neural pathways. Dancing Tai Chi, table tennis, even learning a new movement pattern like a step sequence or agility drill. In one study, seniors who engaged in coordination-based exercises twice a week preserved their neuromuscular junctions 31% better than those who stuck to traditional strength training alone. Second, support the nerves themselves. Certain nutrients can help protect and repair neuromuscular signaling. Alpha lipoic acid, acetyl L-carnitine, and active forms of B vitamins, especially benfotiamine B1, have shown promising effects. Herbs like huperzine A may also help boost acetylcholine, the key neurotransmitter for muscle activation. Third, stimulate the vagus nerve, the body's master control switch for balance and coordination. Simple breathing techniques like box breathing, inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4, exhaling for 4, and holding again for 4, can enhance neuromuscular signaling and calm your system. Just 5 minutes a day can make a real difference. Finally, keep your brain sharp, because cognitive decline and muscle loss often go hand in hand. The same networks that help you solve puzzles and remember names are also involved in balance, posture, and movement. Superagers challenge their minds daily, reading, learning, solving, staying curious. Your brain and your muscles aren't separate. They're teammates. If you want your body to stay strong, you need to keep that line of communication alive. So, next time you think about exercise, don't just move your muscles. Challenge your mind. Practice control. Breathe with purpose, because lasting strength isn't just physical, it's neurological. If there's one habit that separates strong, independent 80-year-olds from those who feel frail, unsteady, or dependent, it's this one: progressive resistance training. It's not a supplement. It's not a special diet. And it's not about becoming a bodybuilder or lifting heavy weights. It's simply the practice of challenging your muscles gently, progressively, consistently, so they have a reason to stay. Because here's the truth. After the age of 30, adults lose 3% to 8% of muscle per decade. After 60, that rate increases even faster. But muscle doesn't just disappear. It disappears because we stop challenging it. And without muscle, everything else declines with it. Balance, coordination, metabolism, and independence. The key is progressive overload. That means doing a little more over time, more reps, slightly more resistance, or longer tension in a movement. It signals your body, this muscle is still needed. Don't let it go. Superagers understand this, and they follow 4 key principles. First, they focus on intensity, not just movement. A short, focused strength session twice a week can outperform hours of light activity. You don't need to lift heavy. You just need to challenge your muscles enough to reach that. I couldn't do another rep with good form feeling. That's where real change begins. Second, they prioritize compound movements. Exercises that train multiple muscles at once. Think squats or sit-to-stand movements from a chair. Push-ups against a wall. Resistance band rows. These mimic real-life actions and build usable strength for daily tasks. Third, they track progress, even if it's just a notebook or checklist, doing 2 more reps than last week. Holding a position 5 seconds longer. These tiny wins add up. Fourth, they slow things down, especially the lowering phase of each movement. This is called eccentric control, and it's one of the safest, most effective ways for older adults to build strength without putting stress on the joints. And here's what's truly amazing. Even seniors in their 70s, 80s, or beyond can gain strength, muscle mass, and function within just 12 weeks of starting a progressive resistance program. In fact, studies show increases of 35% in strength without medication, without supplements, just smart, consistent movement. Unfortunately, many older adults avoid strength training altogether. They fear it's dangerous, or not for their age, but the real danger is not doing it. Because when you stop challenging your muscles, they stop showing up for you. So start small. Use your body weight. Use resistance bands. Use water bottles. But start. Progressive resistance training is the closest thing we have to an anti-aging drug. And it's available to you right now. No prescription required. So now you know 7 powerful proven habits that can help you not just survive aging, but truly thrive through it. And the best part, you don't need to change everything overnight. Just start with 1. Maybe it's ending your shower with cold water. Maybe it's eating 30 grams of protein for breakfast. Or maybe it's the simple decision to stand up and sit down from a chair 10 times today on purpose. Whatever it is, do it with intention. Because each small habit you choose today is an investment in the version of you that still walks confidently, still climbs stairs with ease, still travels, still plays, still laughs. Years from now, aging will happen, but decline doesn't have to. So take a breath, choose your first habit, and begin. And before you go, we'd love to hear from you. Which habit surprised you the most? Are you already doing one of them? Or do you know someone over 70 who inspires you to stay strong? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your next chapter of vitality begins today. Let's make it strong.